March 24th introduces a shift that may feel less clear, less smooth, and more internally charged than the previous day. Yesterday may have brought clarity. Decisions may have felt easier, thoughts more aligned, and direction more defined. But today introduces something different. The Sun forms a 10th connection with Pluto, and this begins to bring awareness toward what lies beneath that clarity. You may notice a subtle pressure, not necessarily from external events, but from within. Something you felt certain about may now feel more intense. A decision you made may begin to carry emotional weight. It is not that the clarity is gone, but that deeper layers connected to that clarity are beginning to surface. Pluto does not operate on the surface. It brings attention to what is hidden, what is unspoken, and what carries emotional intensity beneath awareness. When it interacts with the Sun, the sense of self becomes involved in that process. This can feel like internal tension. You may begin to question not the decision itself, but the implications behind it. You may notice emotions that were not immediately present before. A situation that seemed straightforward may now reveal complexity at a deeper level. This is not a reversal of clarity, it is an expansion of it. You are not being pushed back into confusion, you are being shown what exists underneath what you now understand. This can also show up in interactions. Conversations may feel more intense, even if nothing obvious is said. You may sense underlying emotions, power dynamics, or unspoken tensions in situations that previously felt neutral. Reactions may feel stronger today, not necessarily outwardly, but inwardly. You may feel more aware of what something means, not just on the surface, but in terms of control, vulnerability, or personal significance. The key dynamic of today is pressure. Not pressure to act, but pressure to become aware. Because once clarity appears, the next step is often to confront what that clarity touches beneath the surface, and that is where deeper transformation begins. To understand the deeper psychology of March 24, we need to look at what happens when clarity encounters depth. The Sun represents awareness, identity, and the sense of self that organizes your experience. It brings things into consciousness, allowing you to recognize what is present and what direction you are moving in. Pluto represents something far less visible. It governs the subconscious, hidden motivations, emotional intensity, and the deeper forces that influence behavior beneath awareness. Pluto does not deal with what is obvious. It deals with what is underlying, often unspoken and sometimes uncomfortable to confront. When the Sun forms a tense aspect with Pluto, these two layers begin interacting. Awareness meets what lies beneath it. Psychologically, this can create a feeling of internal pressure. You may recognize something clearly, but at the same time, you may begin to feel the weight of what that recognition means at a deeper level. A decision may feel correct on the surface, but it may also activate emotions, attachments, or fears that were not immediately visible. This is not contradiction, it is depth revealing itself. Pluto often works by intensifying what is already present. If something matters to you, Pluto makes that matter more. If something is connected to control, vulnerability, or power, Pluto brings those themes forward. You may notice that your reactions feel stronger today, not necessarily in an outward way, but internally. A thought may carry more emotional weight. A situation may feel more significant. You may become more aware of what is at stake in a way that was not obvious before. Another important psychological effect of Pluto is the awareness of control. You may begin to notice where you feel the need to maintain control in a situation, or where control feels uncertain. This can apply to relationships, decisions, or even your own internal state. Pluto asks a question that is not always comfortable. What is really driving this? Is it clarity, or is it fear of losing something? Is it direction, or is it attachment to a specific outcome? Is it choice, or is it reaction to something deeper? These questions may not appear directly, but you may feel their presence. This is where internal tension can arise. Part of you may feel clear and ready to move forward. Another part may feel the emotional weight behind that movement. These two layers can exist at the same time, creating a sense of intensity. At times, this may also appear in external interactions. Conversations may carry an undertone of power dynamics. You may sense when something is not being said directly. You may feel more aware of how others are responding, even if their words remain neutral. This heightened awareness can be valuable, but it requires grounding. Pluto can draw the mind into deeper interpretation, sometimes beyond what is necessary. The key is to distinguish between what feels consistently true and what is simply amplified by intensity. The deeper lesson of this transit is awareness of underlying motivation, not just what you are doing, but why. Clarity alone is not enough for transformation. It becomes meaningful when it includes an understanding of the deeper forces connected to it. Because when you understand both the surface and the depth, your choices become more intentional. And intention is what transforms pressure into power.
On a practical level, March 24 may feel like a day where everything is normal on the surface, but slightly more intense underneath. You might go through your usual routines, have regular conversations, and move through familiar environments, yet there may be a subtle sense that something carries more weight than it appears. This is not always visible, but it can be felt in how you interpret situations. You may notice that your reactions are stronger internally. A small comment may stay in your mind longer than expected. A situation that would normally pass quickly may feel more significant. This does not necessarily mean something is wrong. It often means your awareness has moved deeper into the meaning behind what is happening. This can show up as increased sensitivity to tone and behavior. You might notice how something is said, not just what is said. You may pick up on pauses, hesitations, or shifts in energy during conversations. This heightened awareness can help you understand situations more clearly, but it can lead to overinterpretation if not balanced. Another pattern that may appear today is the urge to analyze motivation. You may find yourself asking why something happened, not just what happened. Why did someone respond that way? Why did you react the way you did? Why does this situation feel more important than it seems? These questions can be valuable when approached calmly, but if they become too intense, they can create unnecessary mental pressure. You may also feel a stronger awareness of control. You might notice where you want to influence an outcome, where you feel uncertain about a situation, or where something feels outside of your control. This awareness can create tension if you try to resolve everything immediately. At the same time, this energy can increase focus. When something feels important, your attention naturally moves toward it. You may find it easier to concentrate on situations that matter, especially those connected to personal decisions or relationships. Another subtle pattern is emotional depth in interactions. Even simple conversations may feel more meaningful. You may sense underlying emotions that are not fully expressed. This can create moments of insight, but also moments where things feel heavier than expected. It is important to allow space today. Not every reaction needs to be acted on immediately. Not every insight needs to be explained. Some experiences simply need to be observed until they become clearer. The most helpful approach today is awareness without reaction. Notice what feels intense. Notice where your attention is being drawn. Notice what seems to carry more meaning than usual. And instead of trying to resolve everything, allow those observations to settle. Because today is not about immediate answers. It is about recognizing what lies beneath what is already visible. Now bring this deeper, more intense awareness into your own experience, sign by sign. Today is not about changing direction. It is about understanding what your current direction is activating beneath the surface. If you're an Aries, you may feel tension around something you recently decided. The direction may still feel right, but you may begin to feel the weight behind it. Growth for you lies in recognizing that intensity does not mean something is wrong. It often means something matters. The key is to act from clarity, not from the pressure that surrounds it. If you're a Taurus, this energy may bring attention to your inner attachments. You may notice why you feel strongly about certain outcomes or why letting go of something feels difficult. Growth comes from understanding whether what you are holding on to is supporting your stability or creating resistance to necessary change. If you're a Gemini, conversations may carry deeper meaning than usual. You may sense what is not being said as much as what is spoken. Growth lies in balancing insight with restraint, recognizing that not every perception needs to be expressed immediately. If you're a Cancer, emotional responses may feel more intense. Something small may trigger a deeper feeling that connects to past experience. Growth comes from observing that emotional depth without allowing it to define your immediate actions. If you're a Leo, social dynamics or personal roles may feel more complex. You may notice underlying power structures or expectations within your environment. Growth lies in deciding whether those dynamics align with who you are becoming rather than simply reacting to them. If you're a Virgo, your focus may turn toward the deeper meaning behind your responsibilities. You may question why you are investing energy in certain areas. Growth comes from aligning your effort with purpose, not just obligation. If you're a Libra, relationships may feel more intense or revealing. You may begin to understand what a connection truly represents beneath its surface. Growth lies in accepting that clarity, even if it challenges your sense of balance. If you're a Scorpio, this energy may feel familiar but amplified. You may notice patterns, motivations, or emotional undercurrents with greater precision. Growth comes from using that awareness constructively rather than becoming absorbed in it. If you're a Sagittarius, your direction may feel more serious than it did before. A path that felt exciting may now reveal deeper implications. Growth lies in recognizing that meaning often comes with responsibility, not just freedom. If you're a Capricorn, control and structure may come into focus. You may notice where you are trying to manage outcomes too tightly, or where you feel pressure to maintain control. Growth comes from allowing flexibility within structure. If you're an Aquarius, your perspective may deepen in a way that changes how you see others. You may recognize motivations or dynamics that were not obvious before. Growth lies in using that awareness to improve understanding rather than create distance. And if you're a Pisces, your sense of value and emotional investment may become clearer. You may recognize what truly matters to you at a deeper level. Growth comes from aligning your choices with that truth, even if it requires change. As we close March 24, notice how depth changes the way you experience clarity. Yesterday may have brought a sense of direction. Thoughts felt aligned. Decisions felt easier. There was a sense that something had settled within you, even if only partially. Today did not remove that clarity. It revealed what exists beneath it. You may have felt moments where something carried more weight than expected. A reaction may have felt stronger. A situation may have seemed more meaningful than it appeared on the surface. These moments are not interruptions to clarity. They are extensions of it. Because when something becomes clear, it often activates deeper layers that were not visible before. Not to confuse you, but to complete the understanding. You may have noticed that certain thoughts or feelings stayed with you longer today, not because you were trying to hold on to them, but because they carried something important beneath them. A question may have shifted from, "What should I do?" to, "Why does this matter so much?" That shift is where depth begins, and depth can feel intense. Not because something is wrong, but because you are now aware of more than just the surface of your experience. Tonight, you might reflect on something slightly different. What felt heavier today and why? What reaction revealed something deeper about what matters to me? And what does that depth show me about the direction I am moving in? These are not questions meant to create pressure. They are meant to create understanding. Because clarity shows you the path, but depth shows you what that path means to you. And when both come together, your choices become more than decisions. They become intentional, not just guided by what you know, but by what you understand beneath it.